And so here we are again, back with another live. And you know what I always say? Thank you for joining Wolfpack Performance. I'm your host, Jay, Performance Talk Podcast, F1 Minute, the hottest live talk show on the planet for Formula One content. And yes, the updates are still being awaited. I just want to say, while we're waiting on these updates, I am building anticipation for these cost cap certificates. I want to know. I want to know who breached, if somebody breached, what's going to happen if they breached, what's going to happen to somebody if they breached more than once, which that could be three teams, right? Multiple breaches at this point in time could exist with three teams being Williams, Aston Martin, and Red Bull in that order to severity as to them breaking the financial regulations last season. So yeah, I do want to know if somebody breached, and big shout out to them if they didn't. Big shout out to them if they didn't. But right now we're going to be talking about the updates for Mercedes. And in a way where we are talking about are these updates going to change life for Mercedes? Like, do you think that these updates are going to like change the world for Mercedes? Because I do not. I don't think it's going to change the world. All right. I do, however, think that something is going to change as far as them being on track to make a comeback from where they are now, because where they are now is not where they want to be, is not where a lot of you hope they would be, and damn sure isn't where the sport of Formula One needs them to be as being competitive on the grid. What's going on, Mary Bean, my OG? And I do believe this, though. I do believe Mercedes returns back to a winning team. I do think that they win most definitely a Constructors' Championship at some point in time before 2026. And I do think that there's a fair chance that Lewis Hamilton will get his 8th World Championship before he leaves the sport of Formula One. When he's leaving, I don't know. But yeah, as far as I think people, including myself, because I've already done it, I think you really should taper your expectations to what, if any, of all these upgrades that Mercedes in total have mentioned will do. Okay, we have one of the focuses is the floor, which is definitely a focus that needs to be regarded as priority in this era and generation of cars. The floor cannot be forgotten. Like, the floor is very important. You all think the side pod situation is like highly critical. The floor is critical, but those parts working together are critical. So the side pods, yes. Then we're talking about the aero package and bodywork. So the bodywork, definitely something. It says something if you look among the rest of the grid. And at this point in time, because remember, I had told you that there is some upside. If Mercedes had gotten the slimmed down side pod variation to work, and you also have to remember, two other teams abandoned that direction before Mercedes. Those two teams were Williams and McLaren, both two power unit customer teams. They abandoned that. They left that variation. They went a different direction, okay? So there was some upside that could possibly be held there. Factually, evidently, it's not there, or also it's not there in the means of Mercedes being able to develop around it at this point in time. But there's something to be said when you look at the rest of the builds, the rest of the bodywork, the rest of the aero packages on the grid, and it just so happens to be that a successful package looks more like Ferrari and Red Bull, all right? And both of those cars, Ferrari and Red Bull, other teams have taken bits and notes and incorporated them in their design. Alpine being the first to really adopt that Ferrari downwash side pod concept where they have the swoop and a nice curvaceous inlet. Okay, Alpine adopted that. And then Aston Martin took Alpine's variation of what Ferrari did, and then they expounded upon it, and it is successful for them. As far as the Red Bull team, that undercut underneath that side pod, along with the width of the side pod, preventing that contact with the rear wheels, all right? Just kind of the wake, getting that wake open. Mercedes have neither one of those components working for them at this point in time. But we do remember in Bahrain, 2022, They had a more conventional side pod package that came out, and then they went ahead and wooed and wowed the world with the slim down side pod. I mean, when that shit dropped, it was ether. It was like Nas when he cooked Jay. Yes, Nas cooked Jay with ether. There was no coming back from Nas with that, except for the fact that he married Beyonce, and the other fact that he made more money. That's true. Yeah. I mean, if that was incorporated in a rap battle, which it wasn't, Nas definitely won the rap battle. Jay-Z definitely won at Life Goals. So yeah, when we go here talking about Mercedes getting ready to bring these updates, there needs to be some expectations that need to be realistic, okay? Because you have to remember, it's tenths upon tenths upon tenths that will make an overall package successful over time. You also have to remember that within that time, other teams are still developing. It's not like it's not like Mercedes is going to be developing and Red Bull's not, Ferrari's not, Aston Martin's not. So the thing is, can Mercedes increase their growth exponentially in order to make up for that deficit that they now sit in? That's not an easy task. And big shout out to Formula One, because I did see the report that Formula One to donate $1 million to Amelia Regions Agency of Territorial Safety. By the way, we will be here Sunday, 11 a.m. for an esports race. All of the super chats during that race will go to the relief fund for the Amelia region as well. Something we're doing. Wolfpack family is awesome. Don't ever forget it. That's just a fact. So, yeah, when it comes to that, we're talking about exponential growth in order to make up for the deficit that they currently sit in. That's what we're talking about. Can they make that happen? That's not easy in the sport of Formula One. It's not easy at all, okay? Now, we did hear also that something else that we did also hear is that they were talking about as far as how much anticipated time via the sim that the updates would possibly bring. And I think, don't quote me, I think it was, rumored or said or spoke to around 5/10. That's pretty damn good. Now, you got to remember, there's multiple updates in this package, but we're talking about 5/10. That's pretty good. So we're talking about 5/10. And we look at Red Bull finishing in Miami, with Max Verstappen at the top at a 127.3. And then behind him, George comes in at W14. Like, is 5/10 enough? Not really. It's not enough. Not enough. Definitely not there. So if we go back to, let's just say let's go to Baku. Let's go to the Baku circuit. Let's look at that. All right, race results. We're looking at Max Verstappen. Perez came in first. Galactica says Merc also needs to turn up the power unit and reduce drag. There's another situation that we also can talk about when it comes to Mercedes and their power unit. And Galacticus, big shout out to you, my brother. I mentioned you in the Wolves Den earlier, just moments ago we had. But Perez comes in at 132.42. Max Verstappen, 2 seconds behind him. And then, so 5/10, not really enough right there to make like pony horses difference. So I'm going to go back one more race. All right, we're going to go to Australia, which was a cluster of Red Bull, red flag, Gasly running over an Ocon, and Logan running up the back of Nick DeVries, Carlos getting penalties for reasons other drivers should have got penalties for. But we're still going to look at it. We're still going to take a look at it. Max Verstappen comes in first in that race. And let me see. What do we got overall? Let's see. Fastest lap, what do you have? Fastest lap, 16:32. What was Lewis Hamilton's fastest lap? 16:32.19. So we got Sergio 16:37 was his time of the day right there for a lap. So that's not bad. So if it is at all possible, and matter of fact, I'm going to go back to Baku and I'm going to look at that. I'm going to look at the fastest lap time. Let's look at that. Fastest lap time set by George Russell, 16:37. Max Verstappen, 16:36. And then let's go ahead and go back to Bahrain, where we know it was a struggle. Let's go to the fastest lap. 19:38 by Zhou, 19:14, 19:30. So if Mercedes could quite possibly, if it was possible that 5/10 was made up in this car throughout a multiple amount of updates and actually was a realized pace on track, 5/10 or more, you're talking about some different things happening in competition. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. And even if we get something where we see 3/10, we're still talking about, is Red Bull really running at their most right now? Because I don't think so. I don't think Red Bull's running at their most. I think Red Bull, I wouldn't call it sandbagging. I would call it using what you need for the time being when you're very comfortable. I'm not going to stress out my power unit if I'm literally only racing the other car in the garage. There's no reason for me to stress my power unit out. No reason. Like, we're literally comfortable running away with the championship right now. Why do we want to risk failure? Why would you say do that? Because if they do that and then they start ruining power units, they already have a situation with their cassettes, their driveline, their transmissions. They start ruining power units, then they're taking grid penalties, right? And I know we upped it, they upped it, to 1, but that's not even enough to me in respect to what we have going on in this new season with the amount of races. Unfortunately, Imola was canceled, and then kind of a situation where it might be fortunate China was canceled, but that was due to like a COVID situation, which they're very careful about that. But if that's not the case, we're still talking about like a lot of usage, a lot of wear and tear on these cars that the allocations haven't accommodate for. They haven't adjusted for. Galactica says Red Bull has short wheelbase. Mercedes needs 1+ second more. Yeah, they do. They do. All right. And then another thing, let's talk about their suspension. I'm wondering, because I haven't seen any reports. I've been doing other things, been busy, competitive. Big shout out to Strip and Dip. Podcast was on there earlier today. Denz, Asaf, and Georgina, I think it is. Big shout out to them. But I'm wondering if they're going to change their configuration, because right now I think they're running a push rod system. And I wonder if they might change to a pull. Right there. It's push rod. So I'm wondering if they might change it to a pull rod system, which is something Red Bull have done. They run a different configuration up front than both Mercedes and Aston. Now, it is also something to be said, Aston being the third competitive car in respect of not team car, because the first two are Max Verstappen and Perez. And I say that in that order because that is how, championship standings are going right now. But is it something to say if Aston Martin is doing so, Mercedes power unit, Mercedes suspension parts, but different aero and bodywork and floor? So it's not like it's impossible to see all of a sudden Mercedes cancel out or definitely start beating out Aston Martin. That's my realistic goal to see if Mercedes does. Does Mercedes start beating out Aston Martin? If they start doing that, then there's something that you can kind of look and say, you know what? Might be on the right track. Just might be on the right track. Because that'll be a good jump for them to be a solid third team in the Constructors' Championships. I don't think they'll be in place for starting to battle out for driver consistent wins this season. And I definitely believe that Red Bull still have the ability to crank up and or develop through the course of the season and get faster. I do believe that they do. I don't think they're sandbagging. I just think that they have the room for it, and we'll see what happens with that. Now, what is this new Mercedes going to look like? Are we still talking about something similar to what we saw in Bahrain before Barcelona? Are we talking about something that's already currently kind of on the grid? Do we see a Mercedes comes out that looks damn near like the Aston Martin to the point where we're like, I don't know what we would call that, green eggs and ham, W14 IM. I don't know what we would call it if we saw that. But if we see a package like that on a Mercedes, oof, that might be dangerous. That might be dangerous. That could very well be. If you see a Mercedes come out that looks similar of a concept of Ferrari. Because remember, Lewis Hamilton was poking around the SF23 like kind of heavy. He was poking around that car heavy. Now, we know the downwash side pod situation is successful on the cars. Alpine and Aston Martin have proven that. We know that Red Bull's side pod configuration is successful. Red Bull has proven that, along with, at first, Aston Martin also took some of the Red Bull concept on the side. Like, they have a little bit of Red Bull, Ferrari, Alpine. They got a mixture. They took a lot of good things from other teams and made it work. So do we now see Mercedes look similar to a few other teams, top teams in Red Bull, Ferrari design teams, because Ferrari's struggling too. Don't get it twisted. But if we see that, do we also see the slot gap separators come back on Mercedes front wing? Are we going to see that? You know, Mike Elliott talked to it, although he's in a different position now and doing his other thing. But do we now see the slot gap separators come back? Is that something that we're going to see? Like, are we going to start seeing some of the things that people talked about when it came to Mercedes not having what they needed to have as far as their entire package? These are the things that we're going to be looking for. These are the things that we're hoping to see. And not even if you're just a Mercedes fan, we're talking about hoping to see these things if you're a competitive fan of the sport. I can watch a year of Formula One with Red Bull running away with it. I can deal with it. Why? Because I can deal with it in other sports when I see other teams at the top and they just remain at top, because I think there's still something to learn and or watch. I'm not debating about what's going on in there. Says Red Bull are playing poker with their performance and they have great poker faces with what is possible with the RB19. That is true. That is true. They also have very good cry faces because they do a good job. They do a good job. I honestly like the RB19's body pack. I like it. The RB19, the Alpine, Ferrari, and Mercedes. I like all those cars. They're different. They have their own quirks. I don't include Aston Martin because Aston Martin just bit off of Alpine and Ferrari, so I don't include that. Alpine was the first to take the Ferrari concept and really make it different, but have the same dynamic as far as a downwash in the side pod. So Aston Martin is like Kobe to Michael Jordan. Kobe can never be regarded as better than Michael Jordan because he was a shadow of Michael Jordan. And anytime you mimic another man, you will never be greater than that man. You know, that's why you always constantly hear the debate of LeBron and Michael Jordan. You don't hear the debate go three ways. And that is for that reason. Like, we got a Jordan. Why do we need to talk about a Kobe? Although Kobe's great. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. But I'm talking about in the great conversations. You're going to hear LeBron, Michael Jordan, you know, that. Akondu says, I think the W14B is going to surprise even Merck on its performance and unlock potential. In 2022 testing, Lewis had the fastest lap with a similar pod. Hey, so there's another point. And that's why I have the pictures up there of that. And we'll see what happens. Now, that is true. What Akondu is saying is something that's a flip side to the coin, is what I was mentioning, right? Is that pace going to be realized in real life? And the truth also is, like I say, two things can be true, is that they can have an amount of pace that they didn't see in the simulator actually take place on track. Both things can happen. It can go trash or it can go glad. You can scratch your butt, you can smile, or you can be, you can smile, scratch your butt and frown because you scratched yourself, all right? So it just would depend on how that's going to go. So I am interested. Now, I'm going to talk about this. I am not now I said it, that they can't waste time. So they need to do it. They need to go ahead and see what they got. But I am not in favor of bringing these parts to Monaco. Come on. Monaco is not the place for upgrades and bring new parts and try to see what you got. Although I understand, like, maybe bring the suspension. See how that works. But Monaco is a snooze fest. Monaco is one of the circuits that I say needs to go. Monaco does not need, listen, I'm saying this, Mercedes, I am not in favor at all of you bringing all these new nice parts to play with to Monaco. One, it's a snooze fest. Two, that circuit doesn't allow you to do much of anything aside follow in line or follow the leader and have a big train stampede in the same position around that track. And then you're talking about possibly wrecking up cars depending on what happens with inclement weather and just ruining parts that you don't need to ruin in a cost cap era. Don't bring all these upgrades to Monaco, please. Please do not do that. I would prefer you really not. Just being real. So, yeah, that's how I feel about bringing parts to Monaco. I don't know if you feel that way, but I do. I mean, I'm going to ask a poll in the chat. Matter of fact, I will ask you what you think. What do you think? I'm going to see what you say. Parts to Monaco. Let's see what you say. Let's see if you agree or disagree. It doesn't matter to me. What do you say? Do you think Merc should bring all parts to Monaco? That's what I want to know. What do you think? Let's see. Let's see who votes first. 50. So right now it's 50-50. 50-50 right now. 57 say yes. 57. Oh, it's going back and forth. So it's pretty mixed right now. Pretty mixed in there about that. That's a pretty mixed group. So 53% right now say yeah. I say no. I don't think they should. I don't think they're going to get anything that they really need to out of that. I honestly don't. I don't think they're going to get enough of what they need out of that. I do think they should bring some, because you don't want to waste a lot of time, and Mercedes don't have a lot of time to waste. They need to get as much information as they can. But do I think they should bring like everything? I don't know about that. I think, but then again, you need to see how everything's going to work together. So, maybe if you do, you have to all the way. You're all the way in. And this too may be very, very true. You're all the way in. So if they're going to bring anything to Monaco, I say bring the suspension. I hope they don't bring much of anything to Monaco. I hope they wait until, let's see, what do we have? What do we have next on the calendar? Let's see, after Monaco, let's see what the schedule. We got Monaco, then we have, oh yeah, definitely that. Oh, I'm definitely on for that. That's no joke. Hell yes. Even Canada, I'm good with that. But yeah, for sure. For sure, I'm good if they go ahead and bring it to Barcelona. Definitely. I'm cool with that. You bring that to Barcelona. I mean, if you think about it, that was the second test site anyway in Barcelona, period, right? So I'm definitely cool with bringing it to Barcelona. That would be like unveiling the next new W14, where you brought out the last time in 2022 the W14 B Spec. So I'm like, yeah, I'm down for that. I'm down for that. Bring that out in Barcelona. Hell yeah, bring it out in Barcelona, and then see what happens when you go to Canada. I'm cool with that all day. Yeah, but Monaco? Nah, I definitely don't feel Monaco. So what? 58% say yes, 42% no. I'm definitely with the 42% on that vote as to not do it. But yeah, I do think Mercedes now is in a cost cap era. You can't expect too much as well in a cost cap era. Like they're going to be limited. Like this is a lot of money, and this is a lot of like updating in this car. Like there's a lot of surgery that's going on with this car, and there's still growing pains to be had. There's still recovery to be needed. There's still understanding to be learned. Like they're going to have to do a lot of things. Chaos Druid, what's up, bro? Says, yeah, Barcelona sounds a good place. That's what I'm saying. I think so. Chaos Druid is another one of the drivers that performs in the Wolfpack F1 Grudge Racing Series. Will be this Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there, have a good time. Join us for a good cause. Yeah, I'm definitely down for Barcelona. I'm definitely down for that, and Canada. Because Canada lightweight like a street circuit. It's a big part, but it's like a street circuit. So those are two tracks where they can get good bit of information, high speeds. Because remember, the same thing that I don't believe the simulator could mimic was porpoising, which is why teams got knocked on their ass when it smacked them. It's the same thing. I still don't think these simulators would properly give you an idea of what's going to porpoise and what's not. So they still may have to run into a situation with porpoising when they change the floor, the bodywork, and the suspension. Yeah, you probably could see some porpoising resurface back in Mercedes' life. Now, I believe they'll be able to remedy it a lot sooner than they had ever before, because now they're accustomed and understand what they did to fix it last. Now we know what areas to starting to begin in to fix it this time, although we're running a new package. So it's going to be, you still got to account for the learning curve. You got to account for everything else, the characteristics, to understand. All that is still going to have to take place in this car when they do these updates. The biggest thing that we want to know, everybody wants to know. Even if you don't support Mercedes, you still want to know. You do. Like, and don't try to tell me you don't. You still want to know at the end of the day, are these things going to make Mercedes competitive? Because if you're a Red Bull fan, you're concerned about how long now Red Bull will be dominant. If you're a Mercedes fan, you're anxious to see if Mercedes can now start being competitive to get back to dominance. If you're any other fan of another team, you're worried the fact that your team may never have an opportunity to be dominant. So everybody is concerned about what Mercedes is doing, how they're going to do it, and what the hell they're going to do, period. This is just a fact of the matter. Uno says something was said Merck should have done well. Boom. Okay. All right. Uno getting in. What's up, fam? You popping in? So we will be able to see. I'm just interested to see what it's gonna, because I want to know what concepts did they favor most and what gave them the best data, what gave them the best bounce back when they put these things in the program, the CFD, when they did all this. Which one of these designs proved to be more superior to them? Is it the Red Bull? Is it the Ferrari? Which one is it? Is it Alpine's variation of Ferrari? Like, which one is it? That's what I'm excited to know. Or is it another variation of what we already see Mercedes doing, just changed up to the point where it now kind of not mimics, but is more reminiscent of what a side pod in this era should look like? I want to know. I want to see what's up. I don't think the picture that was posted is something that is like very accurate. I don't know if you all have seen that picture, but I don't know if that picture is a true representation of what we probably should see in that Mercedes. And let me see if I have that image. I mean, I used the image on the thumbnail, but I don't know. I mean, because in this image, I really don't get a lot out of it. I don't get a lot out of it. To me, it's like, and plus, Mercedes is really good at like making people. They're good at doing a head fake. I don't know if you know what a head fake is, but they're good at doing head fakes, right? They do one thing and then they go another direction. Like, you got your ankles broke. You know, Mercedes could be definitely doing that. And this could be another one of those situations where it's like they're going to throw the head fake. And then when you really see what they've done, you're going to be like, whoa, I didn't see that coming, right? That's what you could be like. And so I wonder if and how true it is that this image is a true representation of where they are right now. Ben Xbox Fortress says Spain is a good place to bring the fight to Red Bull. Spain is a good place for them definitely to get some information, how much of a fight they can bring to Red Bull. Will I Am is going up in here balling in the club tonight. He just gifted 5 people Wolfpack memberships. Who got them? Scott Haley, you just got blessed. Baloy, you just got blessed. Vlad, I don't like your first name. I don't like the Vlad because Vlad TV be doing, but Vlad, you cool with me. You just got blessed. Michael Davis, you just got blessed. Pretis, Brief, you just got blessed. Big shout out to Will I Am, blessing 5 people. Now listen, it is your responsibility after a month's time to make sure that you keep your membership going. Do not forget, we're going to have a big giveaway at the end of the season. It's almost $1,500 worth of sim game racing equipment from Fanatec, provided by myself and Carlos the Bro. A Fanatec wheel, Fanatec pedals, and a Fanatec base that is PlayStation, Xbox, and PC compatible. But I don't know how real or how close this image is to the actual Mercedes that we will see. This could be a head fake from Mercedes. By the way, I would love to have my car there after I finish doing the wide body, because this is a wonderful garage to take pictures in. That is an awesome shot. That is an awesome background, but that's on another story. But I don't know. I want to see what it's really going to look like. I really do. I want to know what it's really going to look like. That's what I'm really interested in. Some of you might not care what it's going to look like. You just care about how it's going to perform. And I want to see what it's going to look like. I like a good looking car, and I do like the slim down side pod Mercedes look on them. I do. I know a lot of people think it's ugly, but I like it. I like things that are unique and are put together well, and the car's put together well. It just doesn't function well. That's the truth. And that goes along with the saying, just because it look good don't mean it's good. That's just a true statement, and that happened with Mercedes. And you can't always stay on top. Some point in time, things are going to change. Sylvia Witt Kelly said, I'm blessing somebody else. George just got blessed by Sylvia Witt Kelly. Memberships galore pouring out here. Everybody getting tipsy. Everybody getting tipsy off memberships. Good God almighty. Good God. Everybody out here getting tipsy off memberships. What y'all know about that? Big shout out to y'all. Also getting a Discord. We had a Wolves Den earlier. We will have another Wolves Den. So I'm not concerned about it at this point in time. I think both drivers are going to share the load this time around. I think Hamilton's done sharing the bulk of the load. He sacrificed a lot last season to do testing, data collection, let George have his entry in the Mercedes a little risk-free. This time, I'm pretty sure Hamilton's like, yo, we all going to share this shit. Like, I'm not only going to be the one taking all the load of testing. Like, I got to get back on it. I got to get back out here and just be competitive as hell. And that's definitely what I believe he's going to do. He's not by any means washed or done or anything like that. He just doesn't have a very good car. Nobody on the grid really wants that car. Ben Xbox Fortress just blessed somebody with a Wolfpack membership. Who got it? Jason Bright, you just got blessed by Ben Xbox Fortress to be in the Wolfpack Members Club. Congratulations and welcome to you. I'm going to have to do a new members post before tomorrow. I might have to put one together tonight to bless these new members. Uno says DF is that rear wing was causing last car. Yeah, it was. The downforce it wasn't a lack of downforce. It was just too draggy. They had the downforce, but the car was just too draggy where it didn't need to be, and they need to find a medium. Like the Red Bull car is overall good around majority of circuits and majority of the track. And Mercedes is going to have to find a combination and a package that will do the same thing. Be on average good at majority of the circuits and majority of the areas of the track down the straight, because they're sucking on straight line speed. They're sucking there. They're not bad in corners. They're sucking on straight line speed. So yeah, we gotta see what's going on. But these new members popping up, so now y'all can join us, get the badges on, use the custom emojis and all that good stuff. Dab it up. Maybe have a waffle. Maybe have a Ferrari flag so you can wave it. All that good stuff. We're doing all that good stuff here. So we'll see what happens. We got to wait a little while longer, and rightfully so. I don't care about waiting. I don't even care about what's going to happen with these teams. I don't care about any of that stuff. I really don't, and I'm being serious. I don't care about what's going to happen with these teams. I don't care how it's going to affect them. I don't care about any of that in the wake of what's going on with families that have lost a good portion of their belongings or all of their belongings, have had their lives altered by a flood. I could give two shits about what's going to happen with these teams due to Imola not being on the circuit and them not having that race. When things start up in Monaco, I'm just fine to pick up there. I am. So we'll see what goes down. We'll see what happens. We'll see what's popping. Big shout out to everybody pouring up. I got to go get the little one's cart together. It shows that we might not have to worry about rain tomorrow, but either way it goes, I got to be ready to go in the morning. We have a kart race. This is going to be round 5, I believe. Because we had a doubleheader, round 1, 2, 3. So just right round 4, championship points. Other circuits are coming from around. Got, a lot of things done, but I'll talk to the family members about that because they are privy to that information. So that, I'm just telling you, I got to get out of here and I got to make that. I see Jason Bright getting up in here, got his badge, and he already active with his name up here. Jason, throw up one of those custom emojis now that you got the emojis, bro. Let me see which one of these emojis is your favorite. Is it the Zeb and Lewis? Is it the Dab Lewis? Is it the McLaren? Is it the GOAT? Is it the Mercedes? Is it the French toast? Is it the honey bun? Let me see somebody throw up some of these custom emojis that just got into the family member. Derwin Hill says, in my opinion, I believe Mercedes update will make or break the grid, meaning what route other teams will proceed with their future updates this season. Ooh, so hold on, Derwin. I was about to go, but now you got me interested, buddy, bro. My buddy, bro. So are you saying, good sir, is it possible that Mercedes is going to have an update that is not going to really resemble any of the other cars on the grid aside from maybe just width, but as far as its physical aero characteristics might be different and therefore reshape the way teams update from here on? That would be groundbreaking. Although the pace might not immediately be there, if Mercedes takes another gamble to come out with a concept that is not like anything else on the grid and then happen to nail that, that would be crazy. That would be ridiculously crazy to the point where it reshaped the rest of the grid. Bro, you brought in a banger when you came in. Where the hell did you come from? Did you just come out of a think tank or come out of like a spa, heat spa, and you was in there meditating and just popped that? Damn, bro, that was a good one. That was a good one. Will I Am says, good luck to the little one. Hey, big shout out, bro. Man, I will tell you all on the vlog, because I'll vlog for y'all and let y'all know. But I will say this, a list of parts for that engine, I will let you all know that are privy to that information. But yeah, I will talk to you all about that definitely in the vlog. I'm going to get the GoPro charged up. Derwin says exactly, Wolfpack. He said, that's exactly what I'm talking about. He said, yes, I do believe that that is what's going to happen. If that happens, that's going to be crazy. That's going to be crazy if something like that actually takes place. That would be ridiculously, profoundly, utterly, unbelievably crazy. That would tear a hole in the universe. I over-exaggerate that a little bit, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. But yeah, cheering on that Cosmic. Blue Diva, you know what's up. That Cosmic Cart by Tony Karts. Yeah, she's got a Tony Kart variation as a Cosmic Cart. Yeah, definitely. She'll be in a new chassis probably next year, maybe, depending on her growth rate. Might put her in something else. But yeah, right now we are running a Cosmic, so it is cool. And she's got the Wolfpack custom race suit. So yeah, we're doing good. Enjoying it. So big shout out to y'all. Thanks for pouring up for the pod. Thanks for pouring up to chop it up about this. Self-Made Maintenance says 10-month member. Good luck to you and the family with the card, and thank you, bro. I really do appreciate it. Hey, I appreciate my family is so awesome. Y'all are so awesome. You are so awesome. Matter of fact, let me be big when I say that. You are so damn awesome. It ain't even funny. Y'all make everything more dope. For real. Y'all make everything more dope. Y'all are so beautiful and ridiculously supportive. That's why I say when people ask me, like, what's the best thing that you've gotten out of being a F1 content or vlog or podcast or creator, it's the family and the community that I built is the best thing over everything. Everything. Out of all my experiences being in this space, the best thing is you all. And that's for real. That is for real. So, all right, I keep trying to get out of here so I can go work on these things, and y'all drag me back in. As soon as I think I'm out, you drag me back in to good content. All right. So I will see y'all later. Stinky, big shout out to you, bro. Big shout out, man. Both Delta Zero Productions stepping up, making sure we got a line of cars and drivers ready for Sunday's race, so we have a good full complete grid. I don't want those drivers being on standby. I want those drivers at the gate when it opens up. First come, first serve. Whoever gets in on this grid is going to be a special race. If you get left out, it's because you studied long, you studied wrong, and you was too slow. Now listen, I'm gonna tell you this for the race. We will not close out the session. When we start for practice, we will roll from practice to quali to the race. We will not start the session over. Once we're live and we're on the race, it's done. If you didn't get in or if you happen to fall out, I'm not starting it over unless the game decides that it doesn't want to start. I will keep rolling. So don't leave the session after practice. Stay in the session for practice because we're going right into quali, from quali right into the race. All right, that's what we're going to do. Stinky, if you could let your people, your drivers know that. If they get in, do not leave the session after free practice. We're going to go from free practice to quali to the race. We're not going to do two different lobbies unless we absolutely have to. Zero says, hey, family, what's going on with you two, bro? Hey to yourself. I'm glad you pulled up. So, yeah, everybody, you already know it's already posted. Go ahead and save that reminder so you don't miss the race. Trust me, Spin Cam is going to be crazy. I'm catching somebody on Spin Cam, no doubt. If you don't know what Spin Cam is, you need to come watch a race. Spin Cam and the races get crazy over here, Wolfpack. All right, I'm out for real this time. Y'all not going to drag me back in. Peace and love.